Welcome back to Benedictine University. So happy you can join us for another sold-out game here in Lisle, Illinois. Tonight, the defending NWSL champs FCKC are in town to take on the second-place Chicago Red Stars. Thank you for joining us across the world on the web and locally on Naperville Community Television. I'm Lisa Byington. I'll be your play-by-play commentator throughout the night, and happy to bring with us the University of Illinois head women's soccer coach, Janet Rayfield, as our color analyst this evening. You can also check into our Spanish webcast. Tico Fernandez will take you through on that webcast. Let's get you caught up across the NWSL. Chicago sits in second place behind Seattle, and the Reign beat Boston earlier today 2-1. They've upped their point total to 30 points for the season, so Chicago's got to get 3 points here to keep pace with the Reign. All the clubs are integrating back the World Cup players. Chicago has 8 of them returning, including Kristen Press, and Press has 2 goals in the last 2 matches. Here was her goal against Boston. She was a second-half sub, Janet Rayfield.
And, you know, doing what Kristen Press does well, finding the ball in the box and then finding the back of the net. You got to love how efficient she is in scoring. When you have more goals than you have appearances, you know you're doing well inside the penalty box, and certainly does well with that one to finish it.
She got the game winner in that match in the 90th minute, the assist going to Jen Hoy. And then the most recent goal coming against Washington in the 30th minute. Chicago and Washington ending in a 1-1 draw.
You know, and it's just a great strike from Kristen. Looks up, sees the net, drives that ball. Tough bounce for the goalkeeper. And again, lots of goals coming off the foot of Kristen Press.
6 goals in 5 games. Absolutely amazing. The big news in the last few weeks involving Red Stars midfielder Shannon Box. Box announcing her retirement from the league on July 27th. Coming off a World Cup win, it was her 4th World Cup of her career, but she wants to give a little more time to family now.
You know, and you can't blame it. Most of us would do anything to have 1 World Cup, much less 4, and to end it with a gold medal. I don't think she could end her career any better. The game will miss Shannon Box as much as Shannon Box will miss the game. She's been a great leader for this team, a great example of what it's like to be a professional athlete. And I think now she'll show the world what it's like to be a great mom.
Yeah, at 38 years old, she deserves that time. And, of course, we wish her the best. And there's her daughter, Zoe, one of the reasons why she is hanging up the cleats. The Red Stars reserve club team winning the WPSL national title on July 26th. The Red Stars reserves beat SoCal FC in Oklahoma City. So a big congrats to head coach Chris King and his club getting to the finals back-to-back years and taking home the title this year.
And what a great league for these young players, college players who certainly have hopes of playing in the pro league, to get that opportunity in the summer to come together, put a quick team together. Got to give Chris King some credit for putting those players together and winning that championship.
Moments away from this match, if you want to interact with us on social media, please use the hashtag CRS07. That's how you can interact with us throughout the broadcast. When we come back to Benedictine University, we'll get a chance to show you a wonderful match between the defending NWSL champs and the second place Chicago Red Stars in a sold-out crowd. Stay tuned.
These are your Chicago Red Stars. They've played for their countries, and now they play for you, Chicagoland.
Now to Kristen Press. Nicely done. Chicago up 2-0.
Your Chicago Red Stars. Get out to a game this summer at Benedictine University in Lisle or at Toyota Park. Complete details, Red Stars.
Wouldn't it be great to feel this good every day? Doing the things you love with the people you love. At Illinois Joint Institute, we help people of all ages move better so they can live better. If an ortho down, we're here with everything you need. Enjoy the life you deserve. See what we can do for you at IBJI.com. IBJI. Move better, live better.
With 2 kids playing on 4 different teams, Jane struggles to stay organized, especially when it comes to getting everyone to the right place at the right time. And with the inevitable last-minute changes, things get even more frustrating. Thankfully, each team uses TeamSnap, making Jane's life a breeze. After downloading the app and activating her account online, schedules are automatically synced to all of Jane's calendars. She gets team notifications on the go by email and text. Maps and directions are a single tap away. And she can even view team contact information so she can organize carpools with nearby families. Get started with your free account today and join millions of parents like Jane who already use TeamSnap to keep their kids on the field and their sanity intact.
All right, welcome back to Benedictine University. What a beautiful night here in the village of Lisle, Illinois, and we are just moments away from beginning this match between the Chicago Red Stars and FCKC, the defending NWSL champs. Again, with Jeanette Rayfield, I'm Lisa Bynes, and we'll get you started here with the starting lineup, starting with FCKC. A little bit of a mix-up, or a little bit of a switch-up, I should say, in the midfield. Both of these clubs actually are going without a midfielder who they have relied on all season long. Mandy Laddish will not start for Kansas City, Janet Rayfield.
Yeah, and I think even though you replace those midfielders with, talented, capable players, it's still got to disrupt the rhythm a little bit. No Mandy Laddish in the Kansas City, Vanessa DiBernardo in the Red Stars lineup, and we'll have to see what impact that has on both these teams tonight.
Caitlin Rowland actually getting the start in goal also for FC Kansas City in place of Nicole Barnhart. Maybe a little bit of a surprise there. And the international starter in goal, Karina LeBlanc, also not getting the start for Chicago. Bolton has had that experience all season long for the Red Stars.
Yeah, and you've got 2 young goalkeepers who certainly must be proving themselves in a training environment. I know Rory Dames feels, very comfortable with Michelle Dalton, and she's gotten some minutes. Caitlin Rowland has played a couple games, but I think that's a surprise on that side to see, an experienced Nicole Barnhart on the bench and Caitlin Rowland in goal for KCFC.
Both head coaches mixing things up just a little bit. Kind of exciting tonight. There will be 7 U.S. players combined between these 2 clubs starting here tonight. And when the introductions were made, of course, the home crowd, a sold-out crowd here in Lisle, Illinois, giving a great hand to Lori Kolupny, Kristen Press, and Julie Johnson. This is actually the first time that this home crowd will get to see Julie Johnson and Kristen Press play in front of them tonight.
And that's got to be exciting. It's got to be exciting for these fans. I think on both sides, to see 7 players who just are off a World Championship gold medal, to see 7 of arguably the best players in the world tonight. And what a great treat for the fans here in Lisle on a great evening with a great game ahead of us.
Yeah, back-to-back home matches now that the Chicago Red Stars have sold this place out. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Of course, Chicago is chasing the Seattle Reign. We showed you the standings at the beginning of this one, and the Reign got 3 more points today after beating Boston. So Chicago, again, to keep pace, going to have to pick up another 3 here tonight.
And, certainly want their 3 here at home. I think even after today, Seattle will have a game in hand, and Chicago just 1 point behind them, with an extra game to play. So, Chicago can put themselves in a great position to challenge Seattle with 3 points tonight, and they're certainly going to want to get that here at home.
Red Stars have had the number 1 position since the 3rd week of the season. They spent 11 weeks at the top, and that's remarkable considering that Chicago had never held a first-place ranking in its first 2 NWSL seasons. We are underway here in Lisle, Illinois. FCKC, the defending NWSL champs, against the 2nd-place Chicago Red Stars. Chicago coming off a week where they played 3 matches. Some of that even factoring into the roster decisions that Rory Dames has decided to do here tonight. Out to Kristen Press. The 1 touch getting away from her. Mentioned the switches in goal, the switches in the midfield for both of these clubs, but fans can watch a real great battle at the center back positions here for these 2 teams. There's Amy Rodriguez at the top of the 6th, and the clear for the Red Stars.
Yeah, I think the two center back pairs you see here tonight, could be arguably two of the best in the league. You've got your two World Cup stars with Sauerbrunn and Johnston on either side, and flank them with an experienced Amy Lapel, and certainly an experienced and international star herself in Ursig. So you certainly can see why these teams aren't giving up a lot of.
And each club has a center back that likes to push up and one that really can stay home. Onto the left side. Getting the start up top for Chicago and drawing the first corner kick of the game. The first Red Stars corner kick of the night brought to you by Illinois Women's Soccer League. For every Red Stars corner kick this season, IWSL will donate a game ticket to a local nonprofit organization. Just a few minutes into this one, and Chicago gets the first corner kick of the match. Tumbles to the turf. That was Julie Johnston. Another try at the top of the 18. And here's Rodriguez taking it away. And Rodriguez gets tripped up at midfield. The takeaway from the Chicago. The turn in the midfield. Press is up top. Huerta is there as well. And Kwan far left. Here's Michelle Lomnicki for Chicago. Kristen Press, as we mentioned, 2 goals in the last week. Her tally, an incredible 6 goals in the last 5 games. When you look at the NWSL stats, she is currently listed at 4th in terms of being the top goal scorer. The only thing is that she has played only 5 games. Everyone above her has played 13 or 14.
To have a goal, over a goal per game average in this league is fantastic. And I think as time goes on, if she can keep that sort of goal scoring, it will certainly bode well for the Chicago Red Stars.
Heather O'Reilly dropping it off, number 9 there for FCKC. They weren't sure if Lauren Holiday, taking a shot there. Lauren Holiday, they weren't sure actually if she was even going to play tonight. She had to go through a fitness test before this match even began, but they gave her the green light, and she's starting here for her club.
And I think it's just that time in the season. There's been a lot of games, and whether they're World Cup stars or players who had to play a lot of minutes because those stars were gone, you just see it taking its toll on the players. You see, that's probably why Laddish and DiBernardo aren't on the field tonight, and it's time for the depth of these teams to do their thing.
Throw in here for Kansas City. Kansas City has 4 starting tonight from the U.S. team. Lauren Holiday, as we mentioned, Heather O'Reilly, Amy Rodriguez, Becky Sauerbrunn. A shot from distance is high. Holiday turn. Feeling pressure everywhere she turns. Danica in the midfield. Sending it up top to O'Reilly. The one touch to Rodriguez, who's got some speed and fights her way into the box.
And that may be a real test for the Red Stars tonight. If you look at the pace that KCFC can put up front, with O'Reilly, with A-Rod, that's really going to test that back line of Chicago tonight, and something they'll have to deal with, I think, for the rest of the evening.
Heather O'Reilly looking for Amy Rodriguez on that attempt, one of the best attempts that Kansas City has gotten here so far in the early minutes, into the 7th minute only, and we've seen some chances here for both these clubs. Sam Johnson for Chicago, injury list. As we mentioned, Urseg and Julie Johnson back positions here for Chicago. Erin Gilliland also injured. Vanessa DiBernardo, there's still a chance that we might see her here tonight. To the outside, Leanne Robinson on the right side sends it into the box. Again, Huerta and Kristen Press are up top for Chicago. Jen Hoy listed as a reserve here tonight for the Red Stars. Again, out to Leanne Robinson, who has some time. And Amy Lepelbit back there. We mentioned her name. You felt like really she was one of the reasons why FCKC has kind of stayed competitive during this World Cup time here for this club.
You know, speaking with this assistant coach Hugh Williams, you know, she's just really been sort of the leader of this team. You know, you take a Sauerbrunn out, you need a leader there in the back. And, you know, Amy's got great experience in this league internationally. And to have that back there and to have that stability, I think has something that KCFC has really relied on and will continue to rely on. And it's great to have Sauerbrunn next to her, I'm sure.
She played in the 2012 Olympics, played in the 11 World Cup in Germany. Was with the Red Stars in 2013, but didn't play because of a knee injury. Working that back line for Kansas City. The takeaway from Hemmings. Ursig trying to settle the back to Ursig. We'll find the feet of Huerta. Ursig again looking for Sofia Huerta. Mentioned the 6 goals for Kristen Press. Well, Sofia Huerta has 6 as well. A few more games and a few more matches she had to play to get that, but she has 6 for the team lead here for Chicago, and at speed, the 1-2 combination. Here's Kansas City's turn on the counter. Lauren Holiday out to O'Reilly, and it'll be a Kansas City throw-in. The pace of play so far, is it what you expected it to be?
Yeah, I think, you know, both teams, I think, can possess the ball. You see Kansas City a little bit more possession probably in their back line, a little farther away from their goal. Chicago really keep it in the midfield with those 4 midfielders, you know, pretty much against Kansas City's 3. You're going to see them keep it a little bit more in the midfield and be able to create those chances like you just saw with Motts getting forward.
Back to Lepelbit. And it's Lepelbit winning that battle into the air. Danny Colaprico. Out to away into the box. Finds Ursek. Back out to O'Reilly again, who is offside. First offside call of the night. Some other matches going on tonight. You and I were keeping track of the Washington-Houston match. Crystal Dunn already with a hat trick for Washington.
And I think she sits atop that goal scoring board, already. And that hat trick certainly is going to keep her position there.
Kwan dropping it back. Some pressure coming from Liz Bogus. And Michelle Dalton has to get it away. Here comes Chicago. Trying to drop it off. Look out, Kristen Press, an open goal, and she does it again! Number 7 on the year for Press.
It makes things happen there in the box. A little bit of a misclear, ball ends up at her foot, and she takes a touch around the goalkeeper.
And the sold-out crowd absolutely loves it here in the village of Lisle. When you have a hot goal scorer like Kristen Press, you gotta find her, and Chicago did.
Just made a little bit of a diagonal run there in the box, and I think that was Colaprico who served to that ball, and great ball to split the defense.
Lori Kolupny getting the assist. And 1-0 Chicago here in this first half. Second assist on the year here for Lori Kolupny, and as I mentioned, the 7th goal here for Kristen Press in just her 6th game this year. So the fans getting a chance to watch her play here in their home field for the first time since the World Cup, and she's not disappointing at all.
I think she gave them what they came to see, and that's the Red Stars being ahead and our World Cup stars, finding the back of the net. And it is what she is very good at. And, credit Kolupny for finding her with the ball, and Kristen Press for finding the back of the net, which she does so well and so effectively and so efficiently. She just doesn't miss a lot of chances, as you can see by the number of goals she scored in so few appearances.
Rory Dames told me before this match, Kristen Press is so good at creating something out of nothing. Taking those half chances, taking chances even from distance.
I think great goal scorers see the goal a little bit differently than everyone else. They see where the ball can fit instead of seeing where it can't. And I think Kristen really does that. She just sees where there's a goal-scoring chance, and some people don't see them.
A beautiful run from Sofia Huerta. Taryn Hemmings found her. And the Red Stars can't convert on that opportunity. Lepelbit to Leanne Robinson, again on the right side, pushing up. She has O'Reilly if she wants to use her. She does. O'Reilly caught between two Red Stars. Take a look at this goal again.
Yeah, you see the end of it there where, she takes the touch around the goalkeeper. The ball from Kolupny just gets over the foot of the defender, takes a great touch that just takes it past where the goalkeeper's coming out. Caitlin came out, and not much she can do once that touch was taken around her.
Caitlin Rowland getting the start in goal over Nicole Barnhart. Your best guess of what the reasoning for that would be from Vlatko Andovnovsky would be what?
I think maybe he's changing something up. Maybe there's something he sees in training that the chemistry between Rowland, Sauerbrunn, Lepelbit's, better than Barnhart. Maybe there's a slight injury there that certainly didn't keep her out of warm-up, but may have kept her out of the competition. But, definitely something there that the coach thinks that this is the right person to be in the goal for this game.
Coming into tonight, Nicole Barnhart had started all but 2 matches here for Kansas City. And a 4-6-2 record. In her last outing, Kansas City did lose 3-2 to Houston.
And I think you can see that, Kansas City's trying to change something up. This is the first game Timrack didn't start. Somebody different in the goal. I think they really need to make a push here at the end of the season, try to get themselves in a playoff position. And, I think they're trying to change things up and see if they can make something happen in the latter part of this season.
Erica Timrack didn't start. Mandy Ladish has not started. We had mentioned that. And Vlatko Andonovsky had said that she's really stepped in during the World Cup time, played a lot against Houston, but they felt like, she was a little bit banged up. She might not be ready to play a 90-minute game here tonight.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's that time in the season where you've got players that have played a lot of minutes that are a little bit banged up, and coaches want to make sure that those players are ready to go when it really push comes to shove at the very end of the season. So if there's a time to get them some minutes off, I think both coaches have made some decisions to take some minutes away from players at this point in time.
Kansas City picked up Aberbush from Washington as a free agent. Becca Moros acquired from the Portland Thorns in the offseason. So a couple new faces here to this club, too, as they try to make the playoffs and defend their NWSL title this year.
And I think with Kansas City, the player we haven't mentioned that they've missed lately is Shea Groom, who rookie was really performing well for them. I think is still their leading goal scorer, and in her absence, I think now they're looking for Amy Rodriguez and Heather O'Reilly to come in maybe and help that. But that's going to take some time to get them some rhythm and get them really plugged into the team.
Heather O'Reilly in October, of course, traded from the Boston Breakers to FCKC. From Morgan Marlborough, Cassie Coleman. Well, beautiful night here at Benedictine University. 1-0. Chicago leads against Kansas City. The 1 goal from Kristen Press. The assist to Lori Kolupny if you're just joining us. Comes Chicago on the right side. Huerta, press in the box. Jen Buskowski creating a throw-in opportunity for Kansas City. Kolupny placing it nicely to Rachel Kwan, chasing it down on the left side, battling in the corner, up against Leanne Robinson. And Robinson wins that battle. Anything strike you about the midfield competition? We mentioned that Ladish, DiBernardo, both out for both their clubs.
I think right now the battle in the midfield is pretty even. The battle right now that's I think interesting to me is, each club wants their outside backs to get involved. But certainly when they do, especially I think, Kansas City has left themselves vulnerable to some attack down the flanks, and certainly Chicago's kind of pressing the pace a little bit more and really trying to catch them with those outside backs. But you see Chicago getting their outside backs forward as well. So that's a battle I think we'll continue to watch and see whose backs can continue to make cover that kind of ground and get themselves up and back.
DiBernardo normally handles the set pieces here for Chicago. In her absence, Lori Kolupny looks like will do the duties.
and certainly capable of hitting the ball just about wherever she wants it. So,
Kolupny, a nice service, but into the hands of Caitlin Rowland.
The hard part about that, they just haven't had probably near as many repetitions of training and in games as they have with DiBernardo serving those. So, a little bit different bend, etc. So, those slight changes make a difference. Just haven't had the same number of repetitions with those players in those roles.
Takeaway from Johnston. Julie Johnston getting one of the biggest ovations when she was introduced before this match began. Here's another one who got a big ovation. Kristen Press trying to find Sofia Huerta. And Becky Sauerbrunn drops it off nicely.
And another one of those situations where, Chicago's catching them in like a 2v3, with a back cut up, and those two coming at 3 is still pretty dangerous.
Huerta battling in the corner. A double team. Averbush and Becca Moros. Red Star Soccer in 2015, presented by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, proud presenting partner of the Chicago Red Stars. The Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Move better, live better, learn more at ibji.com. 1-0 match here at Benedictine University. Chicago looking to pick up another 3 points and keep pace with the Seattle Reign, which picked up 3 against Boston today. Takeaway from Hemmings, no whistle. Lauren Holiday controlling in the midfield. Out again to Leanne Robinson on the right flank. Heather O'Reilly cuts it back. O'Reilly looking up to Holiday. And Michelle Dalton will control. Turn. She did help Chicago pick up a win against Boston, a 2-1 win on July 22nd, and she gets the start again tonight. Holiday dropping it back. And Kansas City will try to work it through the back. Again out to Robinson. Trouble controlling it. Plays nicely. Ski to the left side. Back to Buskowski. Heather O'Reilly looking to create. And on her right side, here's O'Reilly. The deflection out to Ursig. And Alyssa Motz was looking to clear.
Lisa, we talked a little bit before the game about who might be the holding midfielder for the Red Stars and who might be pushed up forward. And it looks like Kolupny is sitting in that holding spot and, kind of taking that more defensive ability and letting Colaprico run. It'll be interesting to see as we play out if Colaprico can really get up and support those two forwards and get them the kind of balls they need to score some more goals.
Shalomnicki on the right side, getting the start tonight for Chicago. And the Red Stars will try to work it around the back. Julie John, of course, the unsung hero, maybe, of the U.S. team in World Cup play. Teamed up with Becky Sauerbrunn, and what a defense that U.S. team had.
That such a great pair, and that back line, I think, as a whole, are probably the unsung heroes. You take the number of minutes they played and the defensive stance that they put throughout that tournament. You got to give them a lot of credit for, certainly for getting the U.S. through that very tough group that they started out with.
Talking to Rory Dames about the integration of these U.S. players. He said, it's not even just the U.S. players, the 4 that we have on that roster, now the 3 with the retirement of Shannon Box. It's also the 3 Canadians and the emotion that they had to deal with in playing in their own home country. It's one thing to have all of those international players back physically, but there's an emotional adjustment that they're still going through at this time.
No, absolutely. The Canadians with the disappointment maybe of not going as far as they would like, or that it's over and they're what they've worked for and playing in their home country. And the U.S. and everything that happened after they won, from, a ticker tape parade that was, unexpected, to now having to get back to the grind of a professional season. And, men and the EPL and those sorts of things, that's something that they're used to. They've done a lot. That's not in and out that these women are necessarily accustomed to, and something that we hope they continue to have to deal with, playing in international arenas and then coming back and playing in their professional league. That's something we hope that they deal with for many years to come.
Red Stars broadcast brought to you in part by Blooming Color, the official printer of the Chicago Red Stars. They've made area businesses stand out for the past 25 years and are looking forward to serving you as well. For all your printing needs, whatever the size or the scale, find them online at bloomingcolor.com. Johnston with the clear. Of all the things that the U.S. team got to do, you mentioned the ticker tape parade. If you ask some of the players, the one thing that stands out to them is going to the Taylor Swift concert. Actually standing on stage, that was one of their highlights.
I think they probably all have their highlight moments of during the World Cup, post-World Cup, and hopefully, I can't imagine what Megan Rapinoe felt like flying with the Blue Angels, so might have been my highlight moment.
Exactly.
So, wonderful for all of them to get that experience.
I saw Megan actually tweeted about the Blue Angels here today. Seattle playing and picking up 3 points, but playing without Rapinoe and Hope Solo here today. A dangerous play there for Chicago. Caitlin Rowland in Kansas City comes out of it. One nothing here at Benedictine University. Kristen Press picking up the goal, her 7th of the season. Lori Kolupny picking up an assist. That's her 2nd of the year. Lori Kolupny, in her 2 home matches since the World Cup, has gotten a goal and an assist here for this home crowd.
I'd say based on the Press and Kolupny stats, the integration of the national team players back in the team has gone pretty well.
It's helped them, hasn't it? The turn from Press. Hemmings a battle with O'Reilly. Into the middle of the field. Here's Lauren Holiday. Dropping it off to the left side. Sauerbrunn pushing up. Here's Rodriguez. Couldn't quite turn it. And into the hands of Michelle Dalton.
Not the typical run that you would see Sauerbrunn take. She's not normally the one going forward, but put her in this mix, and a great run there to really penetrate the midfield line, penetrate the back line, and create a great chance for Rodriguez.
Eamon Rodriguez got some quality time in some of those matches in the World Cup when they were switching up some rosters with some of the veterans and then some of the suspensions, and she definitely creates some energy up top no matter what club she's playing for.
And I think that's there's you try to compare maybe a Press and a Rodriguez, and you just can't. They're just two different. Kristen Press doesn't look as flashy, doesn't seem to create sometimes as much, but when she gets the ball, she's efficient with her goal scoring, and she finds a way to find the back of the net. And I think that's one of the Amy really can continue to grow is in her finishing and really having that last piece of the puzzle in terms of taking a ball like that and figuring out the ball into the back of the net.
She has the speed, she has the creativity. Had a couple of big goals in the championship game last year for FCKC. She's an impact player, impact scorer in the playoffs for Kansas City, and a big reason why they won the title last year. Talking to Rory Dames before this match, I asked him about that championship game, and he said, hey, when you have a Little, a Fishlock, a Holiday, and an A-Rod on display on national TV for NWSL fans to watch, and even soccer fans who are just starting to get to know the league, what a great display it was last year.
Absolutely. And I think as we continue to put our sport on display, and you look at the numbers from the World Cup and what the TV audience was like, I think it's really put some pressure on the TV stations around to say, you know what, this is something people want to see, and it's because of players like Fishlock and A-Rod and that game, that championship game, and games like this where some of the best players in the world are really showing the level that this game can be played at, and it's fun to watch on TV, and I think it's a great product.
Robinson's cross intercepted by Michelle Dalton, who quickly gets it away. Of course, the big news coming out that Fox and the NWSL agreed to a TV deal, and the Chicago Red Stars on Sunday, August 9th, be playing against the Portland Thorns. You can catch that on FS1. On the left side, Kristen Press, and a whistle and an offside call.
And I think, like I said, I think Fox was really happy with the numbers during the World Cup, and I think that's really given them some incentive to put this game and to put these players on TV in front of fans that want to see it.
That match I mentioned, Portland and Chicago, one of 3 regular season matches, USL playoff games. First semifinal and second semifinal taking place September 13th. Red Stars right now in position to make the playoffs. Rory Dames, before this season began, set a 30-point mark as the goal to try to be comfortable in terms of trying to make the playoffs. Right now they sit at 26.
Yeah, and I'd say, comfortable, and I think now he probably really wants to host a playoff game now as they sit in the position they sit in. So amazing how your goals change as you get somewhere, making the playoffs at the beginning, and now I think hosting a playoff game would really certainly be something that they would like to see happen.
Been in first place for most of this season, sitting in second and now chasing Seattle just 4 points back going into this match tonight. Kansas City looking to create something. Leanne Robinson on the right side up against Hemmings. And the turn for Lauren Holiday. And Kansas City will get its first corner of the match. The lefty strike finds the head of Lapelbit, and we are tied at 1.
I saw that ball leave Holiday's foot, and I thought that's a tough near post ball. And sure enough, Amy Lapelbit making the run from the back post to the near post. That's a tough one for the goalkeeper. Low, bending, driven, can't really come out and punch it away. And Lapelbit gets a great head on that and just redirects it into the net.
Take another look from the corner strike. That's the end result of the goal. But Amy Lapelbit now with her second score of the season. We brought her up at the beginning of this match saying that she was an important piece to keep Kansas City in the mix. Now she's in the scoring mix here tonight.
I think her role as a defender is certainly something people know about. But she's great in the air. You saw her win a couple of balls in the air, 50-50 balls. But she gets pushed up on corner kicks for just that very reason. And Center backs are usually good in the air. That's why you see, I think, Lapelbit coming forward on their corners, and you'll see Julie Johnson, Abby Ursick getting forward for the Red Stars. So certainly made the most of that one.
Amy Lapelbit striking against her former club. Never played for the Red Stars, as I mentioned, in 2013 because of an injury. But healthy now, and we're knotted up at 1 here in this first half. A goal in the 36th minute. Amy Lapelbit with her second goal of the year.
And Amy's a Chicago native. I think this is where she grew up. So back home scoring in, hopefully in front of friends and family that we're able to get out here and see her play tonight.
Crystal Lake, Illinois, played at Arizona State. As we mentioned, has some international experience as well. Kansas City isn't done. Leanne Robinson again sending it in. Michelle Dalton is there. Rory Dames like the matchup that Michelle Dalton provides against Kansas City. What do you see that she gives that maybe a Karina LeBlanc would not tonight?
Well, I think that's that, if you want to call that a save, but I think that ball right there, I think, is probably one of the reasons. I think she comes off her line and reads balls in the air and owns her box. And, tough one on the corner kick because it's not flighted like the ball she just was able to come and get. But I think their services into the box, maybe Rory Dames felt like something that Dalton would handle maybe a little bit better than LeBlanc.
Colaprico switching fields here for Chicago. Lomnicki trying to find Huerta. And Colaprico is there as well. Final few minutes here of this first half. We are tied at 1. Kansas City and Chicago. A goal in the 13th minute from Kristen Press gave Chicago the lead. Amy Lapelbit and Kansas City responded in the 36th minute. Lapelbit. Physicality there against Kristen Press in the back line. Kwan sending it out to the right, wide. Samats gets it taken away. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in the 40th minute. 40th minute of play here in this first half. Again, we are knotted at 1. Chicago, Kansas City, battling for 3 points here at Benedictine University. Alyssa Motz will take a chance. This Red Stars broadcast brought to you in part by Athletico, the official physical therapy and athletic trainers of the team. Athletico, better for everybody. Find them online at athletico.com. With Janet Rayfield, head coach of the University of Illinois women's soccer team, I'm Lisa Byington. We're happy that you can join us across the world with our Spanish webcast, this English webcast, and of course, Naperville Community Television. We thank you all for tuning in and watching this match, this NWSL match that is sold out here at Benedictine University. Back-to-back home matches that Chicago has been able to do that.
Hey, it's just great for women's soccer. I think the World Cup certainly has sparked the interest, but I think the level of play in this league is keeping that interest and keeping the fans coming out. It's great to see them lining around the fields, filling the stands, and just, I think, really enjoying watching these players play.
Julie Johnston. You know, we have not said Julie Johnston's name much in this match tonight.
And I think, she's done her job defensively, but...
Ooh, trying to slip it past to Amy Rodriguez. Abby Urseg, a little contact. She's going to get whistled for it just outside the 18. And a yellow card handed to Ursig. Well, this is the goal that tied it up.
It's just that tough ball. It doesn't even get up above chest height, so it's hard for a defender to get around her and win it. She seals Ursig off at that near post. Really difficult to get to that ball. Someone's got to be in front of her if you're going to try to win that. And great serve from Holiday.
Well, Abby Ursig again whistled for the foul and given a yellow card.
You could argue that was, she was the last offender, and I looked to see which pocket the referee went to, because certainly was a foul that was pretty obvious as Amy Rodriguez was running to goal there.
Oh, trying to go up high, and it's too high. So Chicago can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief on that one. No score.
That one might have been a little bit too close for Arborbush. She likes to really, she's a great restart specialist, and sometimes the farther out the better for her. So put that one up and over. But I think the Red Stars certainly escaped there. Ball that almost got through to Amy Rodriguez, and the foul certainly kept her from going in, and the Red Stars are lucky to be tied going into these last few minutes.
Vlatko Andonovski was actually concerned about the restarts in defending those against Chicago. His club has generated a lot of set pieces in this first half.
I would certainly say they're winning the set piece game. I think the Red Stars have had several corners, but certainly KCFC took advantage of their one and only corner of the night, I believe.
It was the only corner, you are correct. That led to the only goal here for Kansas City in the 38th minute. Amy Lepelbic got it. Here comes Sofia Huerta trying to provide a little bit of pressure. 44th minute here in this first half. A tie score. And the Blues coming back. Heather O'Reilly, right side, against Rachel Kwan. O'Reilly. And Kwan the last to touch. It'll be the second corner kick. You may not realize it, but the Chicago Red Stars Academy offers girls ages 8 to 17 elite training through residential day camps, personal training, and team training throughout the Chicagoland area, even into Indiana and Wisconsin. To learn more, you can go to redstarsacademy.com. Julie Johnston with the big header. Well, Kansas City providing a little bit of a different look on that corner. The 45th minute. Here comes Hemmings providing some pressure against Robinson. It'll be a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time here in this first half. Janet Rayfield, would you say Chicago maybe won the first part of this first half and Kansas City took the first half?
Lisa, I would completely agree. I think, Chicago had better possession, had better chances in the first probably 20, 25, and then I think you've seen Kansas City sort of take charge of the game here, been able to keep a little bit more possession, and have created the chances as a result of that.
That could do it. We're creeping on that 1 minute of stoppage time. Play so far continues. There is the whistle. So at the half, a 1-1 draw here between Kansas City and Chicago. A real quick thought of what stands out to you.
Well, I think the score is indicative. Chicago scored in the time that they were dominating. Kansas City scored in the the time period where they were dominating and keeping the ball on their end. So I think it's we're at a 1.5.
As this first half ends, you may not have been able to be here tonight. We appreciate you watching, but guess what? The Red Stars play 4 more home games this year. You'll be able to Kiros a part of the Chicago Red Stars roster, and of course some of those away teams that are coming to visit. You saw some of those games that are listed. August 12th is one. That's a special day camp, Kids and Campers Day. Of course, August 16th is a makeup game against the Washington Spirit. August 23rd, a 4 p.m. match against Western New York Flash, a team that actually handed Chicago its only defeat here this year. And then the big one at Toyota Park against the Houston Dash, September 6th. Carly Lloyd coming to town.
I'm sure that that's going to be a fun one. Could be a lot on the line at that point, with Houston really trying to get into the playoffs.
Well, we'll take a quick break at Benedictine University. We're going to send it to our C.J. Wilson Mazda halftime show, and we have a lot planned. Stay tuned for an overview of the Red Stars reserve team, who just won the WPSL National Championship, coached by head coach Chris King. Later on, we'll return to after this.
These are your Chicago Red Stars. They've played for their countries, and now they play for you, Chicagoland.
Now to Krista Press. Nice. Chicago up 2-0.
Your Chicago Red Stars. Get out to a game this summer at Benedictine University in Lisle or at Toyota Park. Complete details are at chicagoredstars.com.
Halftime of this Red Stars game is presented by C.J. Wilson Mazda. C.J. Wilson Mazda is offering Red Stars fans $500 on their next C.J. Wilson Mazda. Bring your ticket stub with you on your C.J. Wilson Mazda test drive for details. Drive what the Red Stars drive. Visit C.J. Wilson Mazda online at zoomzoomnation.com. Visit them in Orland Park on 159th Street, in Countryside on LaGrange Road, and in Lake Villa on Grand Avenue.
The players that are here because they want to be here. They're not here because you're forcing them to come out. They're not here because they have to be here. They're here because they choose to be here.
Finish, Gracie! Hey! Left footer just one time with the inside of the right foot. You just hit it back to the post.
I wasn't really sure what to expect. Rory and myself and Arnhem had sat down and discussed what we thought it could be and sort of what we wanted it to be. But without knowing the commitment and the level of dedication from the kids, it was sort of rough early on to have an idea of exactly where we were going to go with it. Rory comes out and he watches some of the training sessions and he checks in with me on a pretty consistent basis on who's performing well, who's not performing. Some of these players have been invited in to train with the full team. So I think from the very start, it's been a true reserve squad.
Last year we had kids coming in and out, and that is a bad thing, but it's hard to build chemistry on the field. And I think this year especially, kids have committed and they're into it and they're excited about it and they want to play and they want to go win a championship.
I mean, last season I think a bunch of us were just here to get games. Didn't take it as seriously, and this season we're going to look to win that national championship.
I knew with the players that we had, on paper anyway, we had a really good squad. And that if we could get those kids to show up to training and get them to buy in, that we'd have a good chance to go and have some fun.
I think we work really well together. I mean, we come from a bunch of different places, a bunch of different backgrounds, and the fact that we just love to play soccer and love the competition is what makes us really good.
Not only we have a good core of players from Illinois, but we have some players from Ohio, we have players from Kentucky, we have players from Michigan. In order for us to put together the high-level competitive team that we want and we desire, it takes that diversity to be able to compete nationally.
Come on, better, come on!
The expectation definitely hangs over our heads, but we've gotten the results we need and we're performing for the results that we need to get, so I think we're doing all right with that pressure.
Expectations are good and pressure is really good for our team. I think that we lived up to that expectation just because everyone has a standard, and I think we lived up to that.
This reserve team has a great relationship with the IWSL, with the IYSL. They're huge sponsors for this program, so these kids recognize that they have a duty to come out here and put together a good program and to do their jobs.
It's a great program. It's a huge family. That's what I think is the coolest part is, like Roy he comes out and watches us. So it's not like, you know, it's a pro team and the reserves just separate. Like the girls who come from the pro team and play with us, they push us, they drive us, and we're just all a big group.
I definitely see us winning a national title. I think we have the girls and the talent, and then just the want to do it. I think Kinger brings us out here every day and tells us that the national title is what we want to do, and I think that we worked really hard all summer for that.
The 10 previous games, those all go out the window. We're 0-0 right now, and as big of a cliche as it is, it's literally one game at a time.
We've worked really hard, and I think just to have that end result, just kind of be like, we did it, and it's expected, so we want that.
Back here at Benedictine University, a little bubble soccer. It's always a fun and popular half activity. We're going to toss you now to a feature, a Q&A from the Red Stars Twitter account between Jen Hoy and Michelle Lomnicki. You can get to know them a little bit better. Enjoy.
Okay, so question from @LecheVRE. What is your favorite on the road healthy snack? Peanut butter banana. You can never go wrong. Yeah. Is that yours?
No.
What's yours?
The kind branded, what is it?
Kind bars?
No, like the
oats and honey clusters.
Yes, the best.
You do like them.
The best.
All right, you're up.
What's your favorite flavor of frozen yogurt and our go-to topping? This is from @RNJ13. Well, my favorite topping is cookie dough, by far.
Yeah.
But flavor, I like them all. I don't know.
Come on, choose. Choose like two.
I really like the tart flavor. I'm big on the tart frozen yogurt.
That's good.
How about you?
I like coconut. I'm a bigger fan of gelato though. Okay. You know that. So butter pecan or cookies and cream, but I can't really have that.
Oh, that's
yeah. I have food allergies. So @double nutmegs. I know you. So who was the first teammate you met at the Red Stars? I'm trying to remember. If you can consider an email to be meeting someone, I vividly remember Michelle's email, and we talked about this recently. She sent this adorable and very friendly email out to the entire team when we were getting to know each other my first year, and I will forever remember her from that. So that's mine, I would say.
Nice. Mine was actually back in 2009, so back in the day. That was Ella Masser, actually. She's the one who picked me up at the airport, so I got to meet her, and you all know who she is. So this is from @1852true. What's your favorite Chicago novelty? It can be food, fun place, or fact. I think...
Sorry, I'm thinking.
It's okay. I think in general, just the food here. I do love deep dish pizza, weirdly. Never thought I would. But the culture and the food, I never ate so much food until I moved here.
So this is from a guy that we know pretty well, @Arnemy.
Is it not Arnhem 3? Because he's
Arnhem 3rd.
So, here's a good question from a guy who we know pretty well. Arnhem the 3rd, Arnhem 3. Arnhem me, however you think it's said. So what is your favorite thing about that really cool owner I hear so much about? Personally, I think Arnhem is just one of the most wonderful owners I could have had the privilege to work with, and he really cares about the brand. He cares about each and every one of us, so I'm very thankful that he's the owner of Chicago.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we wouldn't be here unless he was here, so all the credit we have is to him, and he's been such an awesome guy to work with. I've known him for a while now, so we are lucky, very lucky.
We are. Thank you, Arnhem.
Oh, that's a good question. At the City Swift, great question. A country you haven't gotten the chance to travel to but would like to? I would say Australia or New Zealand. I've heard a lot about it, and I've heard it's pretty awesome and epic, and I really want to surf, so I think that'd be really fun.
Abby would like that answer.
Yes, and then I can visit her. So
visit Abby. Favorite zoo animal? I would say the koala. I've always really appreciated the koala. However, I really like the tiger as well. I wonder why.
Why do you like the tiger?
Why? School mascot.
Okay.
I'm biased.
And why do you like the koala?
Spirit animal.
Okay. I think I really like the cheetah. I just love, I don't know. They're so fast and they're so graceful when they run, which I wish I was, but that's okay. Yeah, and I really like the giraffe because I feel like we can relate because they're really tall and have long necks. So. Yeah, that's my spirit.
That's a good one. And that concludes our question and answer session with my co-star, Michelle Lomnicki. So,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have some delicious banana bread for you in a bit.
It smells so good.
So good. We wish you could smell it, but you can't.
Just think banana bread, and you'll smell it.
These are your Chicago Red Stars. They've played for their countries, and now they play for you, Chicagoland.
Out to Krista Press. Nicely done. Chicago up 2-0.
Your Chicago Red Stars. Get out to a game this summer at Benedictine University in Lisle or at Toyota Park. Complete details are at chicagoredstars.com.
With 2 kids playing on 4 different teams, Jane struggles to stay organized, especially when it comes to getting everyone to the right place at the right time. And with the inevitable last-minute changes, things get even more frustrating. Thankfully, each team uses TeamSnap, making Jane's life a breeze. After downloading the app and activating her account online, schedules are automatically synced to all of Jane's calendars. She gets team notifications on the go by email and text. Maps and directions are a single tap away. And she can even view team contact information so she can organize carpools with nearby families. Get started with your free account today and join millions of parents like Jane who already use TeamSnap to keep their kids on the field and their sanity intact.
Isn't it about time you came off injured reserve? Schedule a complimentary injury screen at any of Athletico's convenient locations. Complimentary injury screens are free, easy to schedule, and most importantly, provide you with peace of mind. Call 1-877-ATHLETICO or visit them online at athletico.com to find a location near you. Athletico is the official provider of physical therapy and athletic training for the Chicago Red Stars. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody.
Wouldn't it be great to feel this good every day? Doing the things you love with the people you love. At Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, we help people of all ages move better so they can live better. If an orthopedic injury or illness slows you down, we're here with everything you need. Enjoy the life you deserve. See what we can do for you at IBJI.com. IBJI. Move better, live better.
Halftime of this Red Stars game is presented by CJ Wilson Mazda. CJ Wilson Mazda is offering Red Stars fans $500 on their next CJ Wilson Mazda. Bring your ticket stub with you on your CJ Wilson Mazda test drive for details. Drive what the Red Stars drive. Visit CJ Wilson Mazda online at zoomzoomnation.com. Visit them in Orland Park on 159th Street, in Countryside on LaGrange Road, and in Lake Villa on Grand Avenue.
We hope you enjoyed the CJ Wilson Mazda halftime show. We are back here at Benedictine University and moments away and minutes away from beginning our second half. Alongside the University of Illinois women's head coach Janet Rayfield, I am Lisa Byington. Again, we want to stress that there are 4 more home games this year coming up for the Chicago Stars on August 12th, that very special Kids and Campers Day against Sky Blue FC. The makeup match on Sunday, August 16th at 7:30 p.m. against the Washington Spirit. Sunday, August 23rd at 4 p.m. against Western New York Flash. And as we mentioned, the big one, September 6th at Toyota Park against the Houston Dash, and Carly Lloyd is the headliner in that one. For tickets to any of these games or for any of the Red Stars information, you can go to chicagoredstars.com. Here at the half, as we await these teams to enter the field, we are locked at 1 between Chicago and Kansas City. A goal from Kristen Press and a goal from Amy LaPelbit in the 13th and 38th minute, respectively. Let's take another look at some of those highlights. Here's the goal from Kristen Press, received from the pass from Lori Kolupny.
Yeah, a little pass that splits the center backs. I think Caitlin Rowland came out, wanted to get that ball, but a little deflection and a touch by Kristen Press takes it out of her reach, and then Kristen just able to tuck that one home.
Yeah, maybe one of her easiest goals that she's had to score, one of the 7 here for the year, and there's one final look at it, and the lefty finish there for Kristen Press. If we have said 7 goals, and this is only her 6th match of the year. And then off of the corner kick, it found the head of Amy LaPelbit.
Yeah, she's got Ursig sealed there at the near post, and Lauren Holiday does a great job of just driving that ball low. Can't get around her. Ball's low and it's bending. And then I think maybe Dalton got screened there and really couldn't see it.
It's the second assist for Lauren Holiday, the second goal for Amy LaPelbit, and then, as we mentioned, really the set pieces really went Kansas City's way in the first half.
Certainly had the dangerous chances. A couple of restarts there you see from Yael Aberbush, and somebody who has been known to be a great restart specialist. So you certainly don't want to keep giving up those free kicks. You give her too many more chances like that, and she'll find a way to put one away. So I think the Red Stars will certainly want to try to limit those in the second half.
These teams, these clubs just starting to enter on the field again to begin the second half of play. The NWSL standings look like this, and Seattle Reign picking up their 30th points here for the season after defeating the Boston Breakers 2-1, which means the Chicago Red Stars began the day only back a point and have played actually one fewer match than Seattle. Actually, Chicago and Washington are the only clubs in this league that haven't played 14 games, and they'll play that makeup match later in mid-August. But Chicago's got to get the 3 points here to keep pace with Seattle tonight.
I think 2 things. They want to keep pace with Seattle so they're in reach of that championship standing. And they also, I think, want to separate themselves from the rest of the teams to really assure themselves of at least a first-round playoff home game. And so, the distance between second and third may not seem like a lot, but when you talk about a home field playoff game, that distance is necessary. So, they want to distance themselves from the teams below, and they certainly want to keep chasing Seattle.
Those clubs that are situated, we showed you the standings, situated maybe between the 3rd spot through the 7th spot, are going to meet each other quite frequently here in the month of August. So there could be a lot of jockeying for position
Yeah, there's a lot of soccer left to be played in this league. You know, the month of August is going to be an important month, and you've got some teams there from, like you said, 3rd to 7th, that 3rd and 4th spot to get into the playoffs. You know, it's a coveted spot and tough to get. To be top 4 in this league means you've done some good things for over an extended period of time. And, you know, Chicago's where they are because they haven't lost games. I think they've lost, one game. They've tied a few, but they haven't lost games, and that's why they sit in the position that they're in.
7-1-5, 26 points here for the year. They held the number 1 position since the 3rd week of the season. In fact, the Red Stars spent 11 weeks in that top spot, and really a remarkable streak for a club that never held the first place ranking in its 2 previous NWSL seasons. Rory Dames, though, now finding themselves in 2nd place, chasing Seattle. A couple of interesting moves as we began, and we talked about the starting rosters for both of these teams. Vlatko Andonovski making a switch in goal, Caitlin Rowland instead of Nicole Barnhart.
Caitlin's done a good job. You know, I think the goal that she gave up, maybe a little bit over anxious and coming out when really she didn't need to and could have let that play develop. But other than that, I think she's done a good job, been pretty good with her feet. But, you know, if this switch was to really solidify things defensively and change something up, I don't know that you've seen something that's much different than what you might have gotten with Barnhart.
Second half now underway. Locked at ones between Chicago and Kansas City. The sun has now set here at Benedictine University. A beautiful night, a sold-out crowd. Back-to-back home matches that Chicago now has had a sold-out crowd here at the Village of Lisle. Well, this is really the first time that this home crowd gets a chance to watch Julie Johnston, Kristen Press compete post-World Cup. In fact, there are 7 U.S. starters here between these two clubs. 4 for Kansas City starting, 3 for the Chicago Red Stars tonight.
You know, I think what's great about it, too, is, you know, if you took the numbers off and you just watch the game, you know, there's 22 players out there that are competing at a very equitable level. Those 7 national team players don't necessarily stand out. They're great players, but the level of this league is such that there's 22 players that are competing, and that's, I think, what's about this league.
Julie Johnston, the pass back to Dalton getting the start over Karina LeBlanc tonight for Chicago. We mentioned the switch for Kansas City. Dalton really has a lot of experience here this year. She's started 8 games. This is her 9th start this season, with a 5-1-2 record entering tonight.
And I do think that's a difference. I think Chicago is playing a goalkeeper they feel very secure with. I think both of their goalkeepers they feel like can get the job done. And I think with Kansas City, I think they're trying to switch things up and see if they can't change the mojo, so to speak, and turn some.
It's in a 3-2 loss. Actually, back-to-back matches against Houston. On July 20th, a 1-1 draw, and then the July 29th, 3-2 loss. Here's Holiday, trying to find something in the midfield. Mott's dropping it off to blue shirts. Leanne Robinson, who had been active on that right side in the first half for Kansas City. The takeaway for Chicago, trying to lay it out for Sofia Huerta, who got the start up top, along with Kristen Press. Jen Hoy listed as a reserve here tonight for Chicago. No substitutes being made here for either of these clubs. On the attack for Kansas City. You would expect that Chicago would need something for a reserve to come in, for a sub to come in here in this second half. When do you expect that Rory Dames might dig into his substitute satchel, so to speak?
Oh, you know, certainly he's got the pace of Jen Hoy that can continue to put some line of Kansas City. You know, do you bring DiBernardo in and something in terms of playing those balls through? It looks, just at least at the start of this half, that he's switched Kolupny and Koloprico. You know, Koloprico in the first half was playing a lot closer to the forwards. It looks like now maybe Kolupny's in that spot, to see if maybe you could get something like this, a player in here that really wants to play that final ball.
No flag is down. The pass from Kolupny up to Press. Press looking to turn, create some space, and the double team gets the takeaway for Kansas City.
You know, and I think that's been part of the problem here for Chicago. They certainly want to attack Kansas City quickly and try to catch them with their back line maybe not together and some of their backs out of the attack. But they've also struggled to get the support around the ball. You saw Kristen Press there try to hold on to that with two backs. So, you know, maybe getting some more numbers forward, maybe being a little bit more patient with their attack would help them get some numbers around the ball in that final third.
Certainly that combination, though, between Kolupny and Press has been pretty lethal here for Chicago tonight.
And certainly maybe one of the reasons that Rory Dames has pushed Kolupny a little higher up and let Koloprico back in the position I think she's been playing in most of the season, in that holding midfield role, where she does such a great job of changing the point of attack, sits in that hole and really sees the field. So, you know, I think this could be a good change for the Red Stars.
We do have a couple substitutes warming up on the Chicago side. No action so far on the Kansas City side. Another throw-in coming up for Chicago. Vanessa DiBernardo not getting the start tonight in the midfield if you're just joining us. Rory Dames electing to rest her. Chicago coming off of 3 matches within the last week. And we have a corner kick coming up for the Red Stars. Another Red Stars corner kick means Illinois Women's Soccer League will be donating another ticket to a local nonprofit organization. Red Stars didn't get a lot of chances at corners in the first half. My unofficial stats just have them at the 1 in the first. Here's Dani Koloprico. Again, with DiBernardo out, other people get the chances for these set pieces. Up top to Press. We addressed it a little bit in the first half. Not only do they lose a little bit of the midfield presence with DiBernardo out, but they lose a little bit of the set piece presence that she provides as well.
And I think that's one of her strengths in set pieces, is just the consistency of her serve. And you take her out, and you know, although talented and capable, it's not the same. And I think you can see that, you know, the Red Stars haven't been near as efficient in their restarts maybe as Kansas City has.
With Janet Rayfield, who is Vanessa DiBernardo's college coach at the University of Illinois. You should know that fairly well, I would guess.
She certainly took most of our restarts as well. And like I said, the consistency of that service is something that you start to count on.
To the far post. It'll bounce out of play. A goal kick coming up. Again, Caitlin Rowland, you're looking at her, getting the start for Kansas City. Just her 3rd start this year. Out to Becca Moros. He was trying to go up top to Heather O'Reilly. So you have Becky Sauerbrunn, Amy Rodriguez, Heather O'Reilly, and Lauren Holiday as the 4 U.S. players that these fans get to watch from the U.S. team, the World Cup winning team. Throw in coming up. Of course, Chicago had 4 on their roster, and just recently, we mentioned at the beginning the retirement of Shannon Box. And again, if Shannon is watching here tonight, we want to wish her well. A decision to spend more time with her family out in Portland, but what a career she has had. The ripe age of 38 years old.
Oh, just a fantastic career. And, I read her article, I guess, of all the reasons. And, she talked about her career really being born in a professional league, and without that league really probably not having the opportunity to have the career that she's had. And you know that this league is important for the next Shannon Box, and so does Shannon, and it's great for her to talk about that, and to know that her role as a professional was an important one for her. And she also, I think, set that example for the players that are in this league now.
Moros trying to send it in. There's Overbush, and Chicago getting out a little bit of a jam there. Out to the feet of Sofia Huerta. What a move there for Huerta, creating some space. She's got press up top. And rolling there to intercept. The 55th minute of this match. Your goals coming from Kristen Press in the 13th minute. Amy Lepelbit in the 38th.
A good confidence there from Caitlin Rowland, who came out on a ball served into Kristen Press like that, and she was able to come out and get this one. Wasn't afraid for Kristen to take that touch around her again. Great decision, great timing. That shows that she's playing with some confidence.
Red Star Soccer 2015, presented by the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, proud presenting partner of the Chicago Red Stars. The Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Move better, live better. Learn more at ibji.com. Oh, an absolutely beautiful night in the village of Lisle. Benedictine University and these sold-out crowds getting a treat here tonight.
Absolutely, some beautiful colored clouds from the sunset, some beautiful soccer going on, and what I would consider a pretty nice temperature.
Rodriguez wheeling and dealing. U.S. player against U.S. player, up against Julie Johnston on that one. Johnston laying it out for Lomnicki. Lomnicki playing it up to Press. Lomnicki again to Press. The turn for Kolupny. Out to Motz. A short pass game here for the Red Stars. Sending it in up top. The header from Press. And the counter comes quickly for Kansas City. Into the box. Johnston was ready.
And two teams sort of flipped roles there. Chicago gets in on their end, has some great possession, gets numbers down, and it's Kansas City that comes back at him with a counterattack and plays at the pace that Chicago had been playing for most of the game.
First corner look in the second half for Kansas City. Again, they got their one goal off of a corner chance. The lefty service in, the header out for Chicago. And the Red Stars are off and running. The track back from Buskowski and a whistle.
What a great recovery there from Buskowski. Ran with Huerta all the way down the field. And a great run back because it allowed Becky Sarabrun to track Lori Kolupny, and great defending there on the counterattack.
Janet Rayfield, Lisa Byington with you. NWSL match, Kansas City and Chicago. Thanks for tuning in to our Naperville Community Television and across the web. Our Spanish webcast and our English webcast. We appreciate it. Press settling to Kolupny, looking for Kolupny. Kansas City will head back the other way. Becca Moros at speed. Becca Moros, one of those acquired players from Portland in the offseason, one of the new faces Kansas City has this year in their fight to try to defend their NWSL title. O'Reilly looking for Rodriguez. What do you like about that combo for Kansas City?
You know, I think you getting O'Reilly isolated out on the flank seems to be something that Kansas City's trying to do. And then that combination, you got to respect O'Reilly's speed. So it's tough to stop her 1v1 ability and deal with her speed. You got to respect Amy Rodriguez's ability to turn. So certainly a dangerous combination coming at you as a back line.
Lako Andonovski said one of the things he did like about O'Reilly was exactly that. She just adds a different dynamic. Her service into the box can be very dynamic. Kolupny out to Hemmings. Hemmings on the left side for Chicago, taking on O'Reilly. The Red Stars broadcast brought to you in part by Blooming Color, the official printer of the Chicago Red Stars. They've made area businesses stand out for the last 25 years. Looking forward to serve you as well. You can go to bloomingcolor.com for more information. A throw-in for Kansas City. Four Red Stars warming up on the Chicago sideline. And Rory Dames electing to keep some of the players out, including Vanessa DiBernardo, after a 3-match week. A chance for Kansas City. What a save! Michelle Dalton keeps it at a tie.
Great shot, great save. You know, Red Stars certainly were dropping in to defend there and just didn't get pressure and allowed that shot to be taken. Tough save for Dalton, certainly answered the task.
It'll create the second corner chance for Kansas City in this half. Again, Dalton.
Another great save. That's a tough one. That ball bending into the goal. You know, tough one to get. Not just out, but out and over that bar.
Well, Rory Dames talking to Vanessa DiBernardo. He told us at the beginning of the match there was probably a good chance that we would see her in the second half. Looks like she might be the first sub coming in for Chicago. Moros trying to send it back in for Kansas City. Inserting Vanessa DiBernardo at this point gives Chicago what?
I think it gives them someone that's a little bit maybe more connected to their front line, a little more rhythm in the midfield, and enough fresh legs and get into the box. She's got a good shot, plays a good final ball. I think you'll see her, really combine in the midfield. I think you might see Rachel Kwan coming off, maybe Kolupny moving out to the left side and really giving Chicago a midfield that can really attack and maybe get the game-winning goal here in the last bit of this game.
Substitute coming in. DiBernardo is in, Rachel Kwan is off. So DiBernardo's first minutes begin now here tonight. Her legs have played every second of this season so far. DiBernardo, a couple of goals, 5 assists. Those 5 assists put her at second best right now in the NWSL, just behind Kim Little.
And I think that's really probably what they're looking for, bringing Vanessa into this game as someone who maybe can find that ball into press or into Huerta, or a combination with Kolutny that'll create something in that final third.
Erica Timorak now will get her first look tonight, replacing Liz Bogus as a substitute. We talked about Mandy Laddish and Timorak not starting here for Kansas City. Now both of these head coaches maybe trying to solidify their midfield just a bit.
And I think both of them trying to get a player that's got some creativity, attacking wise, that can create something and maybe give them the game winner. You know, none of these coaches want to walk out of here. Everybody's here looking for 3 points. Maybe for different reasons, but they both want 3 points out of this game.
We're tied at 1 between Kansas City and Chicago. Press got Chicago on the board first in the 13th minute of the first half, and it was Amy Lepelbit off the corner. A header she scored in the 38th minute. That's the scoring here tonight. In front of a sold-out crowd at Benedictine University. Back-to-back games, Chicago has been able to do that. That most recent home match, Chicago had a draw against Boston. Again, the Red Stars looking to pick up another 3 points to keep pace here with Seattle. Alyssa Motz on the right side. Runs into a couple of Kansas City defenders, but Chicago will get the throw in. Press. The takeaway from KC. Sauerbrunn out to Lepelbit. They'll reset through Rowland.
Yeah, Chicago, I think, moving their line of confrontation a little bit higher, trying to put Kansas City under some pressure in their own defensive half, see if they can create a turnover and, again, maybe get themselves a game winner out of this.
Number 15, Erica Timorak, is in this second half now for Kansas City. If you're just joining us on the Chicago side, Sam Johnson out with an injury. Erin Gilliland out with an injury. Vanessa DiBernardo didn't. Rory Dames wanted to rest her a little bit, but now she is into this match here in this second half. Playing it up to Press. Return from Sauerbrunn. We had mentioned we've seen Becky Sauerbrunn push up a couple times here tonight. Johnston to Lomnicki. Letting Motz try to run on.
And I have to give some credit to Alyssa Mott. She has covered a lot of ground tonight. She has been in the attack, back with Lomnicki defending. She's been up and down that flank all night long.
10th start in her 11th game this year. Press goes tumbling to the turf, but they play on. No whistle. Here's Timorak. The takeaway from DiBernardo. DiBernardo at the top of the box to Press. Look out! She can finish those half chances.
It's amazing how she's in the right place at the right time when the ball bounces out to her. That's the other thing. She just is in the right place. It's an instinct and a skill, not luck.
Julie Johnston controlling. Nice ball plays. DiBernardo trying to run on. How about that tackle from LePelvic?
Great timing on that slide. Certainly wasn't going to let Vanessa get in and serve that ball across the box. I think that's what Coach James was looking for in terms of putting Vanessa on. She made the run out wide and got a ball to serve across. Just has some mobility out of that that's really creating some challenges for the Kansas City defense.
Lomnicki with a tough play there in the corner. Johnston trying to send it back in. Kolupny so strong on the ball. We'll send it over to Hemmings. Hemmings doing battle and getting whistled for the foul. Final few seconds here of the 70th minute. Still 1-1 between Kansas City and Chicago. Janet Rayfield, Lisa Byington with you.
ChicagoRedStars.com for more information.
Here's DiBernardo to Colaprico. A combination for Chicago. DiBernardo couldn't settle. Huerta drops it back to Colaprico. Rodriguez has some speed, sends it out to the right side. Lauren Holiday is in the middle of the box, and Kansas City can't quite find her. This Red Stars broadcast brought to you tonight by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association. Connect with youth soccer throughout Illinois at illinoisyouthsoccer.org. Holiday. And Ursig will just get rid of it. Sauerbrunn controlling. To Moros. Moros dropping it off to Timrak. Kolupny had it at her feet. We talked about the combination between Kolupny and Press. I think she looked up, was expecting Press to be a little bit closer than what she was.
I think she was expecting someone, but Huerta had tracked that ball down to get it for her. So when she looked up, there just wasn't anyone to play forward to, and kind of got caught in possession trying to turn and play back.
Well, how would you characterize this style of play at the start of this second half?
Well, I think you've seen Kansas City sort of change their pace a little bit and get forward a little faster than they were in the first half, playing a little bit more penetrating passes, really trying to get in, and you've seen Chicago probably be a little bit more patient.
Out to DiBernardo. In the box, a dangerous situation for Kansas City. DiBernardo in the corner. Timrak taking on. And the takeaway from Kolupny. Out to Motz. Motz eye in the middle of the field, finds Press's feet. Back to Motz. Motz will serve it in to Press. And the clear from Moros. They're letting them play here at Benedictine University. Klepny dropping it off to Press, looking to turn. Press looking for a size and sizes it up. Top shelf. How about that? Don't give her any daylight. She's going to convert.
What a great finish by Kristen Press. Not just the finish, but the ability to handle the ball in the box under pressure. You know your defender doesn't want to foul you. Great move to switch feet, left foot, bend the ball in. Great finish from a great goal scorer.
The turn, the placement. Kristen Press with a brace so far tonight. It's number 8 on the season.
I've sometimes said that the sign of a great athlete, and especially a great soccer player, isn't how fast they go, but how fast they stop. And she was moving on direction, stopped. Lapelbet takes one extra step. That gives her the 2 yards she needs to bend that ball into the back of the net. Great play by Kristen Press.
In the 75th minute, Press gives Chicago the 2-1 lead. The assist going to Sofia Huerta.
Yeah, just a little bit of deception there. She gets Lapelbet to take that step. Got to respect her right foot that she looks like she's going to shoot with just that little bit of space that she needs to get that shot off. And what a great bend of that ball around the goalkeeper. Not a whole lot that you could expect Caitlin Rowland to do with that one.
What more can she do? 8 goals in 6 games so far this year. Kristen Press in just 6 games is battling against the likes of a Crystal Dunn, who's played now in 14 games when you include tonight. Crystal Dunn, the last we looked, had 3 goals tonight. That would put her at 12 for the season. And Kristen Press right now is at 8 in just 6 games.
12 in 14 games is a pretty good number, and Crystal Dunn's got to be really proud and happy with that. It just goes to show you how efficient Kristen Press is.
Doesn't need much daylight to be able to convert. Right now, Chicago up 2-1. The 77th minute of play. The Red Stars need another 3 points to keep pace with Seattle. Seattle beating Boston 2-1. An offside call for Kansas City. Washington did defeat Houston 3-1 tonight.
Oh, now I think you're really going to see Kansas City go after this one. It looks like they've gone to 3 in the back. Just took Rebecca Moros off out of the back line and pushed Sarah Hagan up front. So you're going to see Kansas City really go here.
Sarah Hagan now the second sub here for Kansas City. Timrack was the first, now Hagan. DiBernardo, one of the reserves for Chicago. The shot from distance off the crossbar. Motts will take another shot, and the save from Rowland.
And I think you're seeing Chicago right now with their comfortable midfield. You're seeing Dani Colaprico and where she's comfortable. You're seeing Lori Klepny out on that left, able to win balls. Great strike there from Colaprico off that post and a follow. I'm not sure who hit it, Motts or DiBernardo. They were both there wanting that rebound.
Another Red Stars corner kick means Illinois Women's Soccer League will be donating another ticket to a local nonprofit organization. DiBernardo with the service into the hands of Rowland. I'm sorry, that was Colaprico with the service there on the corner. DiBernardo in the game. I just assumed that she was going to take it. I didn't take a hard look at it.
She was out there with her. Sometimes hard to tell those two apart, I think. But probably trained this week with Colaprico serving, and we're going to stick with that.
DiBernardo trying to find someone there on the left side.
And I think the Red Stars have made a substitution. I wasn't
Tancredi's
there. Tancredi in the
Melissa
game.
Tancredi.
For Sofia Huerta.
So Tancredi and Kristen Press up top for Chicago. Both of these clubs now made a couple subs here in this second half in the 80th minute. 2-1 lead for Chicago. Both goals for the Red Stars coming from Kristen Press. Becky Sauerbrunn pushing up a bit for Kansas City. Trying to find Timrak in the corner. Back to Sauerbrunn. Sauerbrunn taking it into the box. Sauerbrunn still handing it. Out to O'Reilly, and here comes Chicago. Press finding Tancredi. To DiBernardo. It's DiBernardo and Tancredi up top for Chicago. DiBernardo is trying to split the difference.
Tancredi wanted that ball, and Vanessa wanted to get it to her, but wasn't quite there.
Colaprico and the turn from Press. That one will sail out of play. Here's a look at that shot. Hit the crossbar.
Just a great strike. You can see in that slow motion they have very little spin on the ball. Certainly caught Caitlin Rowland watching it and hoping that it hit that crossbar and didn't hit the net on the fly.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Red Stars Live. Be sure to use the official hashtag of the Chicago Red Stars, hashtag CRS07.
2-1 lead. Chicago Red Stars sitting in second place. They have held that first place spot for 11 weeks this year. Really held it since the third week of the season. Remarkable considering the fact they lost 8 internationals to the World Cup play. That's the most in the NWSL.
And I think that really just speaks to the quality of the young players. Certainly the players that have been drafted into this club have the ability to be competitive in this league. Great depth you see here at Chicago, and I think that's why you've seen them atop the league for most of the season.
Red Stars broadcast brought to you today in part by Shaw Media, an official news partner of the Chicago Red Stars in 2015. For all the news happening in the suburbs of Chicagoland, head to mysuburbanlife.com. Mentioned the national team players. Chicago also has DiBernardo, Colaprico, Huerta, and Gilliland on the U23 national team. Some of those names that soccer fans might have to remember in the coming years.
You know, absolutely. I think there's players on both these teams that you'll see in the future, and players on this team with international experience. And DiBernardo, Julie Johnson played together on that U20 World Championship team. DiBernardo and Colaprico played with the 20s. You got a lot of players out there that thanks to the investment of U.S. Soccer, really have experience playing this game at the highest level.
DiBernardo playing to space. And that'll eat up some time. In the 84th minute, a 2-1 Chicago over Kansas City. Again, both goals coming from Kristen Press. 7th goal of the season coming in the 13th minute in the first half. Her second goal coming in the 75th minute. Assist to Lori Kolepny and Sofia Huerta tonight. Julie Johnston to the feet of Colaprico. Battle between Timrak and Lomnicki.
Fans, we are now in the 85th minute. Upon the
Will be a throw-in for Chicago in the 85th minute. Red Stars ahead 2-1. As you watch the Red Stars on the field, know that you can get geared up just like your favorite players. Jerseys, sweatshirts, just about Red Stars wear or use. Log on to redstarsgear.com. So exciting to see another sold-out crowd here at Benedictine University. In the pregame, fans were getting their pictures taken with the cutouts of all the U.S. players here from the Chicago team, likes of Kristen Press and Julie Johnston.
And you know, based on the cheer we heard when Kristen was announced, you know, these fans came to see her do her thing, and I think with 2 goals, they'll be happy with the experience they had here tonight.
All these international players got to play in the first 3 matches this season. They haven't really seen Kristen Press play in a home match since then. It's been some time, and you're right, they got quite the ovation. Julie Johnston, Kristen Press, cup here from the fans here at Benedictine University. Kansas City, though, not good, and ties it just like that.
Wow, and certainly not something the Red Stars wanted. That ball flighted into the box there, and somehow a player gets free in the box and gives up a free header in the box here at the last minutes of the game. Unfortunate for the Red Stars.
I believe that one coming in the 87th minute unofficially. Sarah Hagen with the goal. My apologies, not Lauren Holiday. Sarah Hagen, as a sub coming in for Kansas City, is credited with the goal.
And you know, Sarah's got a great presence in the box. You know, tall, good in the air, and they did a great job of finding her in the box with that ball, and she puts it away.
Well, the 89th minute of play, we're locked at 2. Here's another look at it.
And just not a great job of marking in the box there. You know, the serve coming in from the flank, and players sneaking in between 2 of the Red Stars with the ability to get her head on it. Red Stars certainly want to do a better job marking in the box on that flank service.
Chicago sits in second place in the USL. They have 5 drawn this year, are threatening to get a 6th one on the season. And closing things out in the final few minutes, Rory Dames has even admitted, has been a little bit of an issue for this club this year.
You know, and I think that's, you know, there's always a fine line between defensive, making sure you don't give the game back to them, and continuing to attack and move forward. And you know, you saw the Red Stars stop putting as much pressure high up the field, letting Kansas City have a little bit of possession, and then all of a sudden they get a serve from the flank, and you know, now you're not in a you know, now you're chasing the game again and trying to get that game-winning goal. You thought you had it, and now you've got to try to go get it back again.
Chicago has the firepower to do it here in the 90th minute. Kristen Press most recently has scored in the 90th minute in the last few games. She's got 2 here tonight. Timrak. The Blues aren't going away. Erica Timblett, Julie Johnston, Abby Ursig, and Michelle Lumnicki. And Johnston is slow to get up. A minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time here before this match is complete. Francis Silva in now for Kansas City as well, number 11.
And Kansas City certainly going after another attacking-minded player in for Kansas City, trying to go after this game. Use that 3 minutes of stoppage time to see if they can get 3 points.
Again, Seattle picked up 3 points with a win against Boston, has a 4-point advantage before this match is complete over Chicago. DiBernardo to Motz. Motz battling against Silva. Tancredi to DiBernardo. DiBernardo still on the ball. Colaprico. Again, a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time. We're approaching about 2 minutes here in this match.
If somebody's going to get 3 points, they better do something now.
DiBernardo with the turn. Has some space. Fans wanted a handball. Two and a half into stoppage time. Silva to Timrak. And Lauren Holiday with the set piece. This could do it.
Certainly the last chance effort, I think, here for Kansas City.
Sending it in. Johnston with the clear. Oh, and some open space that Kristen Press won't be allowed to take advantage of. So another draw for Chicago, the 6th on the season. This one ending 2-2 between Kansas City and Chicago.
I think you'll have to say this is a disappointing tie for the Chicago Red Stars. Worked so hard to get that game winner, Kristen Press with a great goal. And then to give up a goal late on a unmarked player in the box, certainly not something that they're going to want to continue. And those are the differences. That's, gives Seattle now a chance to maybe pull away.
Seattle came into this match before this match had begun with a 4-point advantage. Both of these teams, Kansas City, Chicago, picking up a point, but the Red Stars still trying to chase down the rain. As you see, Kristen Press, our player of the game, a couple of goals. She now has 8 in 6 games this season, but for every Kristen Press goal, Kansas City had an answer tonight.
They did, and 2 balls served into the box for a restart, 1 in the run of play. Two goals off of the head of a player. I think as a coach, that's probably pretty frustrating.
Amy Lepelbit with the goal in the first half, and Sarah Hagan, one of the reserve players here for Kansas City, knotting it up here at 2. So that's going to be the final here from Benedictine University. Janet Rayfield, thank you for filling in for us here tonight.
Always my pleasure, Lisa, always my pleasure.
Thank you also for tuning in across the World Wide Web and, of course, on the Naperville Community Television. I'm Lisa Byington. We hope you enjoyed this NWSL between Chicago and Kansas City, this one ending in a 2-2 draw.
These are your Chicago Red Stars. They've played for their countries, and now they play for you, Chicagoland.
Now it's Chicago up 2-0.
Your Chicago Red Stars. Get out to a game this summer at Benedictine University in Lisle or at Toyota Park. Complete details are at chicagoredstars.com.
With 2 kids playing on 4 different teams, Jane struggles to stay organized, especially when it comes to getting everyone to the right place at the right time. And with the inevitable last-minute changes, things get even more frustrating. Thankfully, each team uses TeamSnap, making Jane's life a breeze. After downloading the app and activating her account online, schedules are automatically synced to all of Jane's calendars. She gets team notifications on the go by email and text. Maps and directions are a single tap away. And she can even view team contact information so she can organize carpools with nearby families. Get started with your free account today and join millions of parents like Jane who already use TeamSnap to keep their kids on the field and their sanity intact.
Isn't it about time you came off injured reserve? Schedule a complimentary injury screen at any of Athletico's convenient locations. Complimentary injury screens are free, easy to schedule, and most importantly, provide you with peace of mind. Call 1-877-ATHLETICO or visit them online at athletico.com to find a location near you. Athletico is the official provider of physical therapy and athletic training for the Chicago Red Stars. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody.
Wouldn't it be great to feel this good every day? Doing the things you love with the people you love. At Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, we help people of all ages move better so they can live better. If an orthopedic injury or illness slows you down, we're here with everything you need. Enjoy the life you deserve. See what we can do for you at ibji.com. IBJI. Move better, live better.
Halftime of this Red Stars game is presented by CJ Wilson Mazda. CJ Wilson Mazda is offering Red Stars fans $500 on their next CJ Wilson Mazda. Bring your ticket stub with you on your CJ Wilson Mazda test drive for details. Drive what the Red Stars drive. Visit CJ Wilson Mazda online at zoomzoomnation.com. Visit them in Orland Park on 159th Street, in Countryside on LaGrange Road, and in Lake Villa on Grand Avenue.
Welcome back to Benedictine University. So